That's freaking cool.
I've been seeing that all over on Twitter, on YouTube, that Warzone 2, DMZ, that it needed to be delayed. It needed more time. Hell, even J-God, the man, the myth, the legend himself, made a whole ass video breaking this down and kind of backing up that statement. And I have to say, I can see where they're coming from, and I don't disagree entirely, but this is kind of where I'm coming from with this. I wanted to give my own breakdown of Warzone 2, the new DMZ mode, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So let's start out with the good, because I think there's a ton of good and people just aren't giving this game enough credit. Number one, Mazrah. Mazrah is great. It's better than both Verdansk and Caldera. And honestly, I think it's better than Fortune's Keep and Rebirth Island, which I think were the clear two winners of the best map out of Warzone. And then if you ever played Blackout, Blackout was the superior map, obviously the best battle royale map that has been ever created by Call of Duty, and I think Mazrah beats that. It really feels like a good blend of all three of the Verdansk, Caldera, and Blackout map. I love these city features that kind of segue into the desert, that works its way into these areas with more foliage and broken down buildings. I think it's a really good blend of all those things throughout the map. Personally, I would like to see dynamic lighting for the sun to come up and down, as well as weather. I don't understand why we can't have like rain clouds and snow clouds come into the game and add snow. Maybe that's just more file size. It's 2022. I thought we could do that in games now, but I guess that's too much to ask for. Though that's just like a personal gripe of mine, it's still a good thing. The map is great. This leads me to point number 2, and this is like the coolest good thing that Infinity Ward has done, because they made Easter eggs for gamers. If you extract 7 weapon blueprints, you get a secret operator in the game. They didn't mention any word of this. It's just a little Easter egg that gamers have to go in and find, and if you're a gamer, you could share it amongst your other squad mates. And I think this is just a really cool concept, and I wonder what more Easter eggs are out there that we don't know about yet that are hidden within Warzone 2 and DMZ. The third and obvious slam dunk of the good addition to Warzone 2 and DMZ is the proximity chat. This addition has led to some of the funniest clips, and while I've been streaming, we have had some funny interactions, like talking about what a Mexican sub is. You guys need to hang out with me on Twitch to figure out what a Mexican sub is, because that is the funniest thing I think I've ever heard of. But I can already hear the keyboard warriors cracking the knuckles, getting hyped up, talking about how grown men are coming into the game and just saying some outlandish shit. And while there is no way to completely really regulate that, it's kind of like taking the baby out with the bathwater. Like, proximity chat is a good thing, and I think the only way that Infinity Ward Activision can handle this is if they tuned into the streamers' streams, and they saw like if a name popped up and they were saying some outlandish crap, just like, okay, give them the purple band, and they could take that ignorant mindset somewhere else to another game like Battlefield 2042, for example. And honestly, I'm not sure if this is by design on Infinity Ward or just a byproduct of a new game, but all the weapons kind of seem viable right now. The TTK being kind of inconsistent and people just get deleted, you could pretty much use all the guns. Honestly, my 2 favorite guns are the TAC 56, aka the Scar, and the new SMG, the BASP, aka the BASP, are easily my favorite guns to bring into Warzone 2, aka Mazrah. If you've gotten to this point of the video, smash that like button, knock out the subscribe button with the power level of Goku. By doing so, it raises the power level of this channel and it forces YouTube to recognize us. Share this video with all your friends, that way you guys can stay one step ahead of the loop by getting your daily dose of gaming and esports news. And hell, if your mom's hot enough, you could share it with her too. But now onto the bad and the ugly. And I gotta start out with the movement. I'm not calling for slide canceling comeback or anything like that, but I am asking to be able to shoot my freaking gun. Unless you're pre-aiming the entire time, I feel like the ability to pull up your gun and make a play or get the drop on somebody is just non-existent. It really does feel like the ability to make a play is just extremely limited, and that the animations, the movements, the sprint to fire times, all of it just needs to be drastically increased. And talking about something that was drastically increased is during this most recent update that brought more bugs and crashes and fixes, which if you didn't know, that's not what an update is supposed to do, but the footstep volume, thanks to True Game Data, was doing his own recordings and found that they nearly doubled the footstep audio. So we had an entire community that was begging Infinity Ward, turn me down, and Infinity Ward said, no, turn me up. I don't think I need to really expand on this, but yeah, turn down the footstep volume. Another broken feature that happened with this update was private matches, and a CDL mosh pit that was supposed to come is now delayed. So what are the pros supposed to do to get their practice in, because right now you can't go into private matches and make the CDL mosh pit, and they can go in and try to set their own rules, but you have to do that in between every single game, in between every single match, just making a scrim set almost becoming completely inefficient. And the pros have been equating this problem to having a snow day like back in school, where you're just supposed to sit home and just play games and just hang out. They can't actually go in and get the practice in. And I know for some of you, you're kind of scratching your head, well, they can play Warzone, they could just play in the 6v6. It's not the same. That's like saying, hey, go play some like backyard football, and that's going to be your practice for going into the full season. Like, not like your preseason, your whole like going into the normal season is just playing backyard football with your friends. It just would not equate to a very good season. And with the CDL season starting in like early December and the amateur scene starting well now, I don't know what they're going to do. And for somebody like me who does genuinely believe that the Call of Duty scene could be the next NFL, the next NBA that could take over mainstream, honestly, sports, is at an all-time low just due to the leadership that is driving the ship that we know as Call of Duty or Modern Warfare 2. And what's crazy is we haven't even gotten to the ugly. This is just the bad. For me, the ugly with Modern Warfare 2 is the whole UI user interface system. I don't even want to bring up the server instability issues and the skipping issues that are happening in the game, because I think that is just a given. That is past ugly. It is just unacceptable that trying to find a game, even in standard 6v6, is taking forever. Unless you go in solo, I can't find a game with my friends. You have to go in solo, and even then it still takes like 5 to 8 minutes to find a freaking game. And then I have been plagued by the scan and repair, and when I go on to other Twitch streamers and see what they're having to deal with, it's the same thing, skippy frames and getting plagued by scan and repair. So that's just unacceptable. But having the UI being as ugly as it is also just borderline unacceptable. And I think this is it made it glaringly obvious that having the Hulu, director, developer, whatever, come in and design the UI for Modern Warfare 2 is just going forward. If you're going to design a UI for a video game, it needs to be foundationally different than the UI that you would build out for a streaming service. Just saying. But that is going to bring us to the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys agree with me, let me know. I want to know what your guys' initial jerk reaction of Warzone 2 and DMZ is all about. I definitely like DMZ. I think the concept and the ability to do anything and everything in DMZ just blows my mind. And it kind of outshines Warzone, even though I feel like more people are playing Warzone. I think in the next 2 to 3 months, the shape of this game is going to be drastically different, and I'm excited to see what it's going to look like. But with that said, please like, share, subscribe. For doing so, here's a picture of my dog, Annie. She's the cutest labradoodle on all of the lands. I challenge you, make somebody laugh today, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.